Hello, wealth tycoons. You remember that fancy chocolate that comes in a gold foil package? It's a Ferrero Rocher. We save that little treat for important events because it makes us feel fancy and spoiled. But what if I told you that Ferrero Rocher came from a small shop in Italy? It is the story of how family, hard work, and a clear goal turned a small chocolate shop into a chocolate empire. Stay with us till the end of the video to find out how chocolate changed a man's life. And then that man conquered the world of chocolate. So let's get started. Our story begins in Alba, a small town in Italy that is known for its hazelnuts and truffles. It was quiet out here in the country, but Italy had a hard time after World War II. Not many people had jobs, and it was hard for them to make ends meet. In the middle of all this trouble, Pietro Ferrero saw a chance to make things better for his family. Pietro was a pastry cook who loved to try new things in the kitchen. He saw how many hazelnuts were in the area, which made him thought what different he could create out of it. After all, chocolate was pricey and hard to find back then. But in Alba, it was simple to find hazelnuts. Pietro thought that walnuts could be used to make a cheap and tasty treat that everyone would enjoy. He went to work in his small kitchen, making a smooth, creamy paste out of ground hazelnuts, cocoa, and sugar. It was tasty, easy to spread, and most importantly, it was a lot less expensive than chocolate. Pietro gave this work of art the name Giandujo. He made people fall in love very quickly. Pietro didn't just make a tasty product, though. He also thought of a smart way to market it. The spread wasn't sold in big chunks. Instead, it was wrapped in small pieces of paper. People who didn't have a lot of money could still buy a small piece to enjoy. Giandujo's small amounts made it easy for everyone to try and love him. Many people could finally enjoy a sweet treat without having to spend a lot of money thanks to this small change. People in Alba went crazy for Pietro's hazelnut spread. People from all over the world came to his bakery to buy Giandujo. It was no longer just a small corner store. People all over town were talking about this great hazelnut spread very quickly. Pietro had no idea that his product would become famous all over the world one day. Giandujo changed over time to become what we now call Nutella. But back then, it was just a tasty treat made by a man who worked hard and wanted to change the future of his family one hazelnut at a time. It was 1949 when Pietro Ferrero passed away. He left behind his family and a small but successful business. This could have been the end of the story, but Michele Ferrero, Pietro's son, was ready to take over. Michele was not like everyone else. He was smart, artistic, and had a clear idea of what the future would hold. Like his dad, Michele thought that making tasty treats that were not too expensive was important. But he also saw that things were changing in the world around him. People wanted simple foods that were simple to get, store, and eat at home. So, Michele had to make a few changes. A big first step for Michele was to make his dad's famous hazelnut spread, Giandujo, even better. It was easier to spread because Michele made the spread smoother and creamier. Then, in 1964, he changed the name to Nutella. Another thing he did was sell Nutella in glass jars, which made it easier for families to keep at home. The world quickly fell in love with Nutella. The sweet spread was loved by many, and it quickly became a favorite in homes all over Italy. It was a great treat that everyone enjoyed, whether they ate it on bread or straight up. However, Michele was not happy with just having a product that people liked. He had a bigger dream. He wanted to make a unique chocolate treat that people all over the world could enjoy. He wanted it to feel expensive, be memorable, and be great for special events. Michele wanted to make something that was different, something that would stand out in a store and get people's attention. We all know and love Ferrero Rocher, the famous chocolate bar wrapped in gold foil. It all started with this idea. To make something extraordinary, he began to play around with various ingredients and textures in order to make a one-of-a-kind, high-end chocolate. Michele made each Ferrero Rocher piece with great care so that the tastes were just right. He picked smooth milk chocolate and put a whole hazelnut in the middle of it. Even though this was already tasty, Michele wanted it to be even better. He put a thin layer of wafer around the hazelnut and then put a layer of smooth chocolate on top of that. After that, he rolled each chocolate in chopped hazelnuts to make it crunchy. Ferrero Rocher stood out because of its mix of tastes and textures. It was not just another chocolate, it was an adventure. Each piece had just the right amount of sweetness, crunch, and creaminess. Michele knew, though, that the experience was more than just the taste. He thought that the way something looks and feels is also important. He then put gold paper around each Ferrero Rocher. Each chocolate felt like a little gem inside this golden box, not just for looks. It feels like a box of gold jewels is opened when someone opens a box of Ferrero Rocher. The clear lid on the box, the gold foil, and the way each chocolate is neatly put in the tray, all made Ferrero Rocher feel like a special treat. When people opened a box of Ferrero Rocher, Michele wanted them to feel excited, like they were about to enjoy something very special. He was right too. Everyone loved it. Ferrero Rocher quickly became a popular choice for events and gifts. Though it felt fancy and unique, it was still easy for anyone to buy and enjoy. Like Michele wanted his chocolates to be a treat for his customer. We also try to make our video a special treat for you. If you enjoy watching our videos, do tell us liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Making a high-end chocolate like Ferrero Rocher was one thing, but getting people all over the world to love it was another thing altogether. Michele Ferrero knew that to make Ferrero Rocher stand out from other candies, he had to come up with a smart plan. But Michele didn't want to rely on regular ads, so he chose a different route. He used something called a whisper campaign, which means that instead of big ads, Ferrero let people talk about Ferrero Rocher and get the word out. People thought they had found something special, almost like a secret, when they did things this way. It made you feel like you were in a special group of people who knew how important Ferrero Rocher was. Slowly, word got around about how fancy and unique Ferrero Rocher was, as people tried it and shared it with their family and friends. People started to talk about this gold-wrapped chocolate, which made it seem special, like it was only for certain people or events. Michele thought a lot about how to package it too. With care, each Ferrero Rocher chocolate was wrapped in gold foil, which made it look like a small prize. The chocolates were then put in a thin plastic tray that kept each one separate. When put together, they looked like a row of golden jewels in a box. With the clear plastic lid, anyone who looked at the box could see the golden treats inside, which made it feel even more exciting and high class. This well-thought-out act was very important. As soon as someone opened a box of Ferrero Rocher, they knew they were about to enjoy something very special. The golden box, the well-organized tray, and the clear lid all made Ferrero Rocher look classy and beautiful. The chocolate wasn't just any, it was a treat that made you feel like you were getting something wonderful. Soon, people in different countries heard about Ferrero Rocher, and it was known all over the world. There was more to it than just tasty chocolate. People thought of Ferrero Rocher as a way to add a little something extra to any event, something special. Since Michele was very careful and strategic, Ferrero Rocher went from being a single chocolate to a symbol of happiness and quality that people all over the world enjoy. Ferrero stayed true to its roots as a family-owned business, even as it grew from a small bakery to a world brand. The Ferrero family had strong beliefs in things like quality and working hard. It was not just about making money for Michele Ferrero. It was important to him that people could trust and honor the Ferrero brand. These ideals were important to Michele from the start. He was determined that Ferrero's goods only had the best ingredients, so he frequently went out of his way to meet with suppliers in person. He wanted to know where the foods came from and how they were grown. He also wanted to make sure they were up to his high standards. Michele didn't stop there. He thought that Ferrero should be in charge of every part of production instead of letting other companies make his products. Ferrero could then keep an eye on quality at all times. He built Ferrero's own plants because of this. It was easy for Michele to be sure that everything was done right, because only Ferrero-owned companies made their goods. This included the hazelnuts in Nutella and the wrapping on each Ferrero Rocher. But Michele didn't just care about the goods, he cared about the people who made them too. His workers weren't just people who did his job. They were like family to him. He believed in making the workplace a good place to be, where everyone felt valued and honored. It was important to Michele that everyone at Ferrero liked their job and was happy to be a part of the company. This made Ferrero known as a company that cared about its workers. People were proud to work for a company that not only treated them well, but also made great items that people loved. Focusing on ethics and quality helped Ferrero build a good name for itself. Ferrero became a name that people knew they could trust. A lot of people bought Nutella and Ferrero Rocher because they trusted the company, not just because the chocolate was tasty. They knew that Ferrero treats were carefully made with good ingredients, and that the company cared about its employees and customers. Michele turned Ferrero into a well-known and respected brand by keeping true to these values. People knew Ferrero was not just another business trying to make money. It was a family-run company that cared about doing things the right way. The way Michele treated people with respect, cared about quality, and made Ferrero a name that people all over the world loved and trusted. By the 2000s, Ferrero had grown a lot from its small-town roots. What began as a family bakery has grown into a well-known name, loved by people all over the world. Ferrero was no longer just known for Nutella and Ferrero Rocher. They also came out with other big brands, like Kinder Surprise and Tic Tac. Lots of different types of people liked these new goods. Kids loved the surprise toys inside Kinder Eggs, and adults liked how refreshing Tic Tacs tasted. Because each product was different, Ferrero was able to connect with a wide range of customers and become a market leader in chocolate and candy. Michele Ferrero stepped down, and his son Giovanni Ferrero took over the business. Giovanni watched his father run the business as a child, and he shared his father's love for quality and new ideas. But Giovanni also had big plans for the future of Ferrero. Even though Ferrero Rocher and Nutella were very popular, he knew the business had to keep growing to stay successful. This made him start looking for ways to make Ferrero even bigger. Buying other names that would go well with Ferrero's products was one of Giovanni's smart business moves. As an example, he bought Nestlé's candy business in the US, which had well-known names like Baby Ruth and Butterfinger. Adding these names to Ferrero's list of products helped Giovanni reach even more customers, especially in the US, where these candies were already well-known. This move made Ferrero a bigger player in the world market and helped them reach new people. Giovanni knew that adding more products to Ferrero was important for the business to keep doing well. Even though Ferrero Rocher was already well-known and loved chocolate, Giovanni knew that the company would be stronger if it had a bigger range of products. As Ferrero added new brands and products, it was able to please a wider range of people around the world. With Giovanni in charge, Ferrero continued to grow, combining the company's traditional values of quality and care with fresh, new ideas. Giovanni didn't just make Ferrero bigger by adding more products to the line, he also made it better. Every company that Ferrero bought made the company even more well-known around the world as a giant that had something for everyone. For all of these changes, Ferrero stayed true to its roots as a business run by a family with strong morals. The business never lost sight of its promise to use only the best products, act in an honest way, and treat its workers like family. Because of this, millions of people around the world trust Ferrero, from kids who like Kinder Surprises to adults who share a Ferrero Rocher on special events. Hey, if you are enjoying this business story so far, you will definitely like watching other business stories from its success to scandals. We have covered it all. Do check them out. It wasn't easy for Ferrero to become a worldwide brand, and as it grew, the business had to deal with many problems. Other candy and chocolate makers were making new products, which made the competition stronger. Then there were changes in people's worries and tastes. As people became more concerned about their health, they wanted to eat foods that were made with better ingredients. They were also more interested in where their food came from, especially cocoa and palm oil, which are grown in ways that can be bad for the environment. Ferrero knew that it had to adapt to these changes if it wanted to keep doing well. The business didn't want to be known as just another candy brand. It wanted to be a well-known and trusted brand. In order to meet customer needs, Ferrero began to work on environmentally friendly and responsible buying projects. In other words, they started checking that the food they used was grown and gathered in ways that were better for the farms and the environment. Finding cocoa and palm oil that are good for the environment was a big step that Ferrero took. Chocolate is mostly made of cocoa, and Nutella and other foods use palm oil. Deforestation, on the other hand, is when woods are cut down to make room for farms. This can happen when these crops are grown. This could be bad for the environment and put animals that live in these woods in danger. Ferrero chose to do something about it, so they bought cocoa and palm oil from farms that did things in a more environmentally friendly way. To do this, they had to find providers whose practices didn't hurt the environment or treat workers badly. Ferrero was not just trying to meet customer needs. They were also trying to stay true to the values that had made the business great in the first place. The Ferrero family wanted their brand to be one that people could trust, one that did more than just make tasty candies. They wanted it to make a difference. Customers were reassured that Ferrero was an honest business by seeing that they cared about where their goods came from. This dedication to openness and responsibility helped Ferrero keep its good name. People who bought Ferrero items could feel good about them because they knew the company was trying hard to be good. People were given more information by Ferrero about their efforts to make their supply chain more ethical and environmentally friendly. They told people exactly what they were doing. In this way, Ferrero was able to adapt to a changing world. They didn't just go with the flow. They paid attention to what people wanted and changed to meet those needs. In this way, Ferrero grew its business in a way that was good for the environment and its customers. As of now, a big reason why people still trust and love Ferrero goods is that they care about responsible sourcing and the environment. Ferrero has kept their word to make treats that people like and to run their business in a way that people feel good about. Ferrero Rocher is now loved and known all over the world. Ferrero started out as a small bakery in the quiet Italian town of Alba. It has grown into a big business worth billions of dollars. People from all over the world enjoy the rich taste of Ferrero Rocher, which you can find in almost every country. Ferrero Rocher isn't just chocolate, though. It's meant to feel like a special treat. It looks fancy and like a party because each piece is carefully wrapped in shiny gold foil. People who open a box of Ferrero Rocher feel like they're about to do something really special. It all began with the Ferrero family, who never forgot where they came from or what they stood for. They stuck to their promise of quality by making sure that each chocolate was made with care and the best materials. They kept stressing family values over the years. For them, Ferrero wasn't just a business, it was a family tradition that they were proud to share with the world. The company will always remember Michele Ferrero, who helped make Ferrero what it is today. He always wanted chocolate to make people happy. He hoped that each Ferrero Rocher, Nutella jar, or Kinder Surprise would make someone smile. Michele thought chocolate could be more than just a treat. She thought it could be a way to remember good times, make people smile, or honor the sweet things that happen in life. Michele's ideas are still alive in the way Ferrero does business, even though he has died. Innovation means that the company keeps coming up with new goods and ideas to keep people interested. They are still focused on making things that make people happy and feel special. Ferrero is always looking for ways to grow without sacrificing the quality and care they're known for. They could do this by making new tastes, going into new markets, or being more eco-friendly. People today don't just think of chocolate when they hear the name Ferrero Rocher. They think of grandeur, history, and a little magic. Even if you buy it for yourself, this chocolate makes you feel like you're giving it as a gift. The Ferrero family has made the Ferrero Rocher a sign of happiness and of giving yourself or someone else something special. The desire to keep things the same and the desire to always get better have kept Ferrero Rocher at the top of the chocolate world. The Ferrero brand is known all over the world because the family is dedicated to quality, focuses on making moments that matter, and wants to stay connected to what matters, making people happy. Ferrero is still based on Michele's dream of making people happy through chocolate. That's what makes the Ferrero Rocher more than just a product. It's a tradition of love, care, and sweet memories shared all over the world. That's the story of how a small bakery in Italy became a worldwide business. Ferrero Rocher is more than just chocolate. It's a reminder of how hard people work, how creative people can be, and how magical it is when a family's dream comes true. When you eat that little golden treat next time, think about how it got to you. If you enjoyed watching the video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to watch our already existing video that will give you more insights about the business world. See you soon in another video.